Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jen Trepic, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries. This week, we're talking about ProDough Whey protein powder. This was submitted by Jennifer S. through our website. So first of all, Jennifer, thank you so much. Friends, if you have an idea for a nutrition nugget, be sure to send it over. Whether you go to the website, asaladwithasideoffries.com, or send a DM on social media. Looking at your favorite foods and products is so fun. And I hear from you that it's helpful. So send them in. And by the way, when you send your ideas, I move them to the top of the list. So even though I have a long list of ideas, you won't have to wait ages to hear your request. So back to this one for Jennifer S., the ProDough Whey protein powder. So admittedly, I'm not familiar with this one. Jennifer said we could look at any flavor, but the day she sent the email, she had the apple pie flavor, which intrigued me in general. So this is a protein powder that has such a specific flavor. I felt like it was unusual. Anyway, as we always do, I like to start with the website, understanding a little bit about the brand and their claims, and then, we can dig into the nutrition facts. So top of their site, it says the best tasting protein on earth, clean ingredients, great macros, transparent labels. That's it. I mean, this is like one of the most no frills website I've seen in a long time. There is nothing about our story, our philosophy, other than clean ingredients, great macros, transparent labels. Like that was it. And to some degree, I like that they're kind of letting the product speak for itself. They have tons of products, by the way. So they have the protein powder, protein pancakes, protein donuts, protein oatmeal. And that's just the things that they call out as you scroll down the homepage. Their navigation also has waffles and crepe options and cake mixes. There's a lot here. And I am impressed by everything that they offer. And then I can't help it. My business brain goes to wow, that's a lot of SKUs. I wonder if all of these really sell, or if they're ultimately going to keep only some of these around. I don't know. It's a lot. Very interesting though. So anyway, I digress. We are focusing today on the protein powder because that's what Jennifer S. sent in. When I click over there, so I see they have whey protein powder and a plant-based protein powder. Again, it still feels very no frills, no marketing. The page is just premium protein powders, and then you click to shop either the whey or the plant-based. So we're going for the whey. And so now we get to their marketing. So it says amazing taste, premium ingredients, top results. Whether you want to promote muscle growth, improve recovery, curb hunger cravings, improve weight management, improve your glycemic regulation, or just increase your overall health, ProDough's whey protein has you covered. 25 grams of protein, 0 grams of added sugar, 110 to 127 calories. Okay. I mean, we haven't gotten to all the details yet, but fundamentally, all of those things are a function of having more protein, right? So I just want to be clear before getting to their ingredients, those claims are claims about increased protein versus this particular product. Right? Obviously, they're making it about their product. But okay, so scrolling down, they have single serving samples, which is very unusual. And I am impressed by that because it's, atypical. And then my brain goes, okay, even more SKUs to keep track of. And then they have so many flavors. It is wild. But I also think because they have so many flavors, it makes those sample packs, helpful. Okay, and then now we get to a lot of this marketing language. So they say, whether you want to promote muscle growth, improve recovery, curb hunger cravings. Okay, it's that same sentence again. Unmatched purity and quality. ProDough uses 100% pure whey protein isolate as opposed to concentrate, meaning it has virtually no impurities, making it more protein dense with fewer calories and safer to consume. ProDough's protein is 100% grass-fed. Love that. I wish they also told us it was RGBH free, the hormones that they often give the cows, but they didn't say that. In addition to using whey isolate, our protein is microfiltered, making it even more protein dense. All of our products have 0 artificial ingredients. most macro efficient protein. So they're talking about the grams of protein for the number of calories. So, 25 grams of protein and only 110 calories. But then in another spot, it was 110 to 127, I think it said. So whatever. And then 2 grams of net carbs, it says. Easy to absorb and digest. Our microfiltered whey isolate is more easily absorbed and utilized by the body than other protein sources. All of our protein uses ProDough's proprietary digestive enzyme blend for easy digestion and maximal absorption, so no more bloating or upset stomach. They're also gluten-free, unmatched taste and texture. So they say the microfiltered whey isolate makes the smoothest protein powder you've ever tasted. It mixes with no clumping and no chalkiness, making it creamy and delicious. The quality and purity of our protein powder means you don't have the usual proteiny aftertaste, meaning it would be the best protein you've ever tasted. 20 gourmet flavors available. And then they say ingredients there. It says microfiltered whey protein isolate, non-fat dry milk, stevia extract, enzyme blend, natural flavors, MCT oil, monk fruit, and Himalayan pink salt. We know that we have to read the ingredients and everything on every flavor. So from there, right, I'm trying to look for the apple pie specific label, and it is admittedly not the easiest process, okay? But I finally figured it out. I found it. It says serving size is 1 scoop, 117 calories, 1 gram of total fat, 0 grams of saturated fat, 0 grams of trans fat, 1 gram of carbs, 0 grams of fiber, 1 gram of total sugar, 0 grams added sugar, and 25 grams of protein. Then it shows some calcium, sodium, a little magnesium, a bit of phosphorus and potassium. So from here, I would say, I think this checks out as like a post-workout protein or a snack's worth amount of protein, as it's equivalent to a little over like 3 ounces. But we all know, right, before we really decide, we have to look at the ingredients. And this, my friends, is where things got a little sticky. Okay, so in order to read the ingredients for this specific flavor, I had to use, like the picture of the label. And then, when you hover your mouse on it and it gets bigger, but it didn't get big enough to actually be able to read the ingredients. So then I had to use the computer's feature to like zoom in, and then it just got blurry. Nevertheless, here's what I was able to decipher from the super blurry, zoomed in image of the ingredient list. Whey protein isolate, non-fat milk powder, Go Cocoa cocoa butter powder, natural flavors, Himalayan rock salt, guar gum, cinnamon powder, glucosylated stevia extract, Ono sweet fermented Reb M, digestive enzyme blend, made of protease 400 HUT, fungal lipase 50 FIP, amylase 300 DU, and lactase 20 ALU. Okay, so let's dig into some of these for a second. I like the whey protein isolate, right? That means they've removed the lactose, which is a better option for those who don't tolerate lactose well. But then they add non-fat milk powder. And then to counter the milk powder, they have the digestive enzyme blend that has lactase. So lactase is the enzyme that breaks down lactose. So ultimately, where that gets us is you might be okay with this depending on how sensitive you are to lactose. I like the other digestive enzymes that they call out, right? Essentially, the protease breaks down protein. So like what they're doing in this digestive enzyme blend is helping this not sit in your stomach, right? You may also better absorb the protein with that protease. I'm honestly not sure what the Go Cocoa cocoa butter powder is adding. Like my logic, if I think maybe it's creating that texture, right? Like a creamier texture. The natural flavors is always a bit of a who knows. Himalayan rock salt is where the minerals are coming from in their micronutrients on the label. Guar gum is your emulsifier. Cinnamon powder we like. And then you have these 2 different sweeteners, glucosylated stevia extract and Ono sweet fermented Reb M. So I had to look these up. These were new to me. So here's what I found. Glucosylated stevia extract sometimes referred to in the research as glucosylated stevia glycosides, are laboratory-made sweeteners manufactured by adding 1 to 10 glucose units to stevia glycosides, which are extracted from leaves of the stevia plant. They say it's a better for you sweetener. From what I saw, and a lot of what I saw was actually about like the EU reviewing it. So the first time it was submitted to the EU governing body, it was rejected, basically saying, there wasn't enough research. They had some other issues. And so then it was submitted again a couple years later, and then it was approved. Part of the issue was about like long-term, any sort of health effects long-term. There does seem to be a bit of hesitation around larger amounts of it. So do with that what you will. Maybe think about how often you're eating these. And then the other sweetener called OnoSweet Fermented Reb M. So it's also laboratory made. OnoSweet is produced by fermenting sugarcane with specially engineered yeast. And this mimics natural stevia glycoside production in the stevia plant. So essentially, this one gives you a taste that's more like sugar. So it has less of that aftertaste that we get from sweeteners. Some argue it's more sustainable than traditional stevia cultivation. And then from what I could find, it was submitted to the FDA in 2019. I couldn't find all that much research on it. I did learn, so Reb M, this sweetener, is sweeter than other extracts of stevia, therefore considered the next generation ingredients for stevia sweeteners. And then in combination, we've talked about ACE K before, or I always butcher this name, like acyl sulfame potassium, known as ACE K. So they say the combination of Reb M with Reb A stevia together is referred to as new ACE K plus sucralose. So we talked about ACE K in other nutrition nuggets and our healthier options, worth it or hard pass episode. These two sweeteners are, I don't know, I'm on the fence on these two sweeteners. But then I mentioned, right, this is where things get a little sticky. Because, so remember I said the ingredient list was really blurry and I had to zoom in so much, so then I went scouring the internet to see if I could find the apple pie label somewhere else, right? From some other retailer's website that maybe it had like a more user-friendly image of the package. And then what I found there had me so confused because on the other sites that sell the products, the nutrition facts and ingredients are different. I know, I see your reaction. So on Amazon, everything was easier to read, but it said 110 calories, 0.5 grams of fat, 3 grams of carbs with 1 gram of fiber, 0 grams of sugar, 25 grams of protein. And then it had a teeny bit of vitamin D, a bit of potassium and iron, and some calcium. So not terribly different on the macronutrients, but still not the same. And then the ingredients list is the same ingredients list that they were touting on other parts of their website, not what was on that specific flavors label. So the label on Amazon for the apple pie said ingredients were whey protein, microfiltered whey protein isolate, non-fat dry milk, stevia extract, enzyme blend, natural flavors, MCT oil powder, monk fruit, and Himalayan pink salt. So while I'm not personally the biggest fan of MCT oil, I think I'd rather this version of the ingredients. Like, I'm not definitive on that, but I think, so then seeing these two different things, I'm admittedly confused. I went back to the ProDough website to check myself because I was second guessing, and I look at it closer. The picture of the front of the apple pie flavor says 25 grams of protein, 0 grams of added sugar, 110 calories. So that's matching the nutrition facts from Amazon, not the nutrition facts that are in the next image of the back of the apple pie flavor. So now my mind is going, right? Like I am trying to logic my way through this. Here's where I landed. And I'm going to preface this by saying this is 100% a guess, right? I did not reach out to this company. I have no idea. But my best effort at making sense of this is I think they changed their formula. And on their website, the only image that they updated was the back of the package. They left the image of the front of the package the same as it was, right? The other retailers selling the product either have the old formula in inventory and or the other retailers have not updated their product images on their sites, right? It's also possible that ProDough hasn't sent updated product images to these other retailers. So ultimately, I feel like this leaves us with one very clear lesson, and that is we must read the labels of what is actually in our hands. Even after we do this kind of deep dive, there is no guarantee that what you have in your hand matches what we discussed here. And companies change their formulas, right? Unfortunately, we have to read the labels of what is in our hands each time we go to buy things because things change and they don't have to announce to us that they've made changes. So wrapping this up, right, assessing based on the nutrition facts and the ingredients from the ProDough website and the back of the package for the apple pie flavor. On the macronutrient piece, right, it's a snack amount of protein, not likely to cause any GI upset, relatively easy on your system. By itself, could be like a post-workout protein. If you wanted to use it as a snack, you might want to add something to it to give yourself some fiber. So think like, veggies or fruit. And when it comes to these sweeteners, I mean, you get to decide for yourself, right? Weigh the pros and cons of the different ingredients. For me, in making that choice, I'm also considering how often I'm having this, right? Is it once in a while or is it a daily staple? And then Jennifer S., I think, again, thank you for sending this in. I think one of the things I can say to you too is maybe consider if you're noticing, do you notice anything when you eat them, right? Are they serving you? Is there an option with different sweeteners where you might see, like, does this one keep you craving sweets? Like, are those sweeteners not great for you? And maybe there's a different protein powder with less sweeteners or different sweeteners. And then you could add your own cinnamon or apple pie spice to it. Like I've done that with some of the protein shakes that like the vanilla one, I'll add cinnamon or apple pie spice. So Dee, what do you think?
I kept waiting for you to tell me that there were apples in it.
No apples.
It's like, it's apple pie. There's no apples in it.
Frankly, just cinnamon and sweeteners.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I'd like to honestly like to order it and like to see it is what I would like. I mean, I was going to ask you, I'm like, maybe we should order one and just see what it really says on it.
I know. Well, then I was like, oh, maybe I should see if I can find it in a store near here, but then I also thought this is a wild goose chase and I'll just,
just curious. Yeah. Very curious. Yeah.
Very, right? Interesting. Well, again, Jennifer S., thank you for submitting this one. I have to say, I kind of love that it sent me on, down this rabbit hole to figure out what might be going on with the different labels and the information out there. And I think it turned out to be a truly fantastic example of our own due diligence as consumers. So,
yeah, I agree.
Awesome. Well, as always, everybody, I'm your host, Jen Trepeck. Connect with me on Instagram or all social media. I'm at Jen Trepeck, JENNTREPECK. Website is asaladwithasideofries.com. Pick your platform, send a message. I love hearing from you. I truly do. This is also the easiest way to learn more about working with me as your health coach. Dee, thank you again for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me, Jen. This is an awesome topic.
Yes. Awesome. And of course, everybody, if you are not already, join our membership by going to glow.fm/saladwithasideofries. This shows your support for this podcast, this community, and your health. You'll get this week's recipe for the peaches and creamsicles and the article titled More Activity, Less Gym. Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.